Are you ready? Call your mama, call your papa, call your friends. The festivities are about to begin. Boom!
All right. Turn my camera on. Boom, ladies and gentlemen, we are live in a very special episode. It is Saturday, May 16, 2020. And I am honored to be joined at this moment by Jesse Kozlowski and Blue Marble Science. We are expecting on the visit of George Nachek, Tim Osman, and maybe a special guest or two. Looking forward for it. How are you doing, gentlemen? Morning.
Good morning, Jose.
Good morning, Jose. Hey, how you doing, Blue Marble?
Hello, Jesse. How are you?
Very good, very good. Excited to be here.
Great. I'm excited to listen.
Excellent. Yeah, I sent the invitation to George Nachek, Tim Osman, and hopefully, maybe they're still, I shared the show on Discord and on my YouTube, created a community share. Hopefully they'll come in. Jesse, you got a little something kind of a ready to go presentation wise? If you would like to, take the floor for as long as you want, talk to the people, and in the chat, please hit that thumbs up if you can support the platform by becoming a member, super chat, check on the links in the description box, and let's have a decent show. Let's learn about surveying and other stuff. The floor will be all yours, Jesse Kozlowski. Go right ahead.
All righty, thanks, Jose. I wouldn't call it little. I did prepare the presentation. I just added the last couple slides moments ago. So with an email I had just received from Larry Scott. I call him my sensei. He's my survey sensei. But so I had just added that. And so I don't know how long this will be. I'll try to go through as quickly as possible, but at a good pace. Of course, it's being recorded, so anyone can always just drop back to see what it's about. And mostly what I will be presenting is places that you can go and get further information. So consider this like a jump-off point. I'm going to present sources and places that you can look at this information later at your leisure. And so let's see here. I'm going to try to Alt-Tab, and I guess I need to present my screen, right?
Yes, sir. You can present a window or a Chrome tab, maybe. I think you will have the option. Will be perfect. Perfect. We got it.
Okay.
Jesse, can I do it in just in this mode instead of actually running it as a PowerPoint presentation?
Well, then,
because it blanks out my other screen when I do that.
Can you hide the sidebar? Because there's some elements of surprise. I don't want people to see the next coming slide.
Let's see. I don't know if I can or not. Yeah, I can.
Cool.
How's that?
Perfect.
Yeah, good.
That way, I'll just flip through these that way,
and then when I come to where I want to open the browser, I'll just copy that link to the chat. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
Yes. You can paste the link in here and we can share that one.
All right. So, all right, I'll get started here. the topic is show us your measurements, and I thought I'd paste in one of the earlier videos I did, just, flat earth proof, show us the measurements. And that video goes through examining a video that was put out back then called, I think it was called Flat Earth Proofs #3 Land Ho. And that's really where I jumped into all of this, was to find out and ask, well, where are the measurements for all this? That's when I began to see so much confusion about the 8 inches times the miles squared, and what does that actually calculate, and so on and so on. And then I also watched, just a lot of hostility among people, just arguing, terribly. And I took some heat too. I just, what I'm going to do here, and what I've been doing all along, and I haven't changed, I just show you what you can do. I'm going to show you what's possible, and try to give you, good information. That's it. I'm not out to try to convince anybody. It doesn't matter. I do like surveying a lot, and so I'm just going to share what I know about it and what I've been able to do with it. And also along the way, I've encountered comments and people reaching out and saying, I'm not a real surveyor. Real surveyors know the earth is flat. And I'm always asking, well, where are they? Who are they? Where are these flat earth believing surveyors? And, we just, we don't find them. I don't know any of them except for, let's go to the next slide. This was the first person that I saw on the internet saying that he's a surveyor and that he believes the earth is flat. And that really piqued my interest. I reached out to Chris and had some conversations with him online. I was all about trying to find out, how is it that he does what I do, but believes that the earth is flat? I wanted to know. And so we had some conversations. I threw this screenshot in of one of the conversations where we were just talking about surveying, and I've given you the minute and second mark where, what the heck? Well, Dell was alerting me to run a diagnostic on the machine here. Anyway, this is the minute and second mark where you can go and listen to the conversation where Chris didn't know where the direction of down was, and I helped him figure that out. So that's all I was trying to do, is help him out with that. I don't know if it did any good, because it seems that flat earth encompasses much more than measuring the size and shape of the earth. Is it flat or not? There's lots of other strongly held beliefs involved. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So if you just Google surveyors and look at images, you're going to find, images like this. It's mostly modern day photos. You're going to see total station instruments and auto levels. You're going to see GPS being used, and down in the lower right, you see a drone. We're using drones a lot now, and we're carrying heavy lift drones are carrying actual laser scanners, which is like unbelievable. It's so cool. But we're able to get a real three-dimensional representation of what it is that we're flying over. It's incredible. And then over on the right, lower right, is a 3D laser scanner in a terrestrial application. It looks like it's on an airport. So, that's surveying today. And I could editorialize a little bit on what's happened over time. In earlier times, you had to know a lot about the mathematics and the actual principles involved. And today, maybe not so much. And I see a lot of my younger peers that they get a term, they're called button pushers. They don't really know how it's working. This is where it comes from, this whole statement that surveyors don't measure curvature, or surveyors don't take curvature into account. Well, they don't take anything into account. They're not up on it. It takes a rare person to want to delve in because of the fact that, economics dictate that things are done rapidly, anybody who knows how to operate this equipment can be, sent out and collect the data and never know exactly how it came about. They just are operating the equipment. So it's the rare person who, falls in love with this profession and wants to learn more and is going to teach themselves really what's going on. And because this equipment, even though it's modern and works really well, it's still operating on the same principles as the older equipment. Let's go to the next slide. So, I've got some nostalgia for the old days, and I think people need to it's better if you can remember history and know where things came from. Here we're looking at surveyors on the tops of what's called Bilby Steel Tower. And this gets the instrument up above the ground at heights of around 100 feet or more, about 110 feet. And you'll see there is an outer tower for the crew to stand on that platform. And there's an inner tower that is not touching the outer tower. And that's because you don't want to disturb the instrument. So the instrument is actually set on top of its own tower. It's almost like a really gigantically tall tripod. Yeah, right here. So, this is how triangulation was performed over the flatter countryside, going through the Midwest and so forth, and certainly here on the East Coast. As you got up into the mountains, there was absolutely no need for these towers. They were actually occupying points up in the mountains. But that's just a glimpse of how things were done in the past. You should think about the fact that, you hear today people saying, oh, no, satellites or surveying instruments have a limitation on their length and so forth. There's confusion there, and I want to clear that up during this presentation. Let's keep moving here. Oh, wait, go back to the slide before this. I just want to finish. I was editorializing on the so-called button pushers. I take a different view of that. I don't call people things like that. I look at it like this. Hey, in my career, I've had the advantage to come up through as a, entry-level person, and then learning how to operate the equipment, the instrument, then becoming a party chief, and then becoming a licensed land surveyor. That took time. The younger folks coming into the profession today don't have that luxury of long time. They're thrown in quickly. Hey, come on, can you operate this equipment? We got work to do. And they do it, and they do it very well. I think it's up to us to mentor them to kind of fill in the gaps and help them, get a better or a deeper understanding of what's happening. So that's it. I used the term button pusher, and I wanted to kind of say a little bit more about that. All right, now we can keep moving. And you can hear me okay? It's coming through?
Loud and clear, yes, sir.
Beautiful. All right, let's move past the towers here. I like to show this book. It's got a great title, considering the topic we're kind of involved in here, this whole flat Earth thing. Here's a book called Flattening the Earth, 2,000 Years of Map Projections. And I guess in a way, it's the surveyor's job to flatten out the Earth. Why? Well, because it's difficult to walk around with a globe in your hands. You've got to make maps in order to do what it is we do. We need maps for navigation. We need maps for creating roadways and construction projects, rail projects and whatnot. And so there's got to be a way of dealing with the spherical shape of the Earth. And this is a great book. It shows the whole history of how people figured out the mathematics used to take 3D positions and flatten them out onto a 2D projection. So that book was written, I think, back in the 70s. All right, let's keep going. It's got a lot of good resources in the back. So here's a triangulation map of Long Island Sound. So you could imagine that the guys on those towers came through here and measured some very long lines across the sound. in order to create a framework to improve the maps. I think the next slide is going to show you a sample or an example of maps that maybe weren't so good. No, okay, this slide here is fine. And here's the surveyors doing that work. They're doing triangulation, and they go where you've got to go. Like, no matter what, you've got to get there. Tim Osmond could speak to it. He knows. He saw what it took for us to make some of the observations we made on Antelope Island. It was one thing to just drive Route 80 that day just to measure the route with GPS. It was another to go out and actually take an instrument and occupy a vantage point that you could see. And the guys in the middle there, that's not a fashion statement. It's not like some early period of costume people wore.
That's what I was thinking when I saw the things in their heads.
Yeah, man, they're inundated with gnats, and it's nasty, but they're out there, and they got to get those observations made. Many, many repetitions of these angles are measured. And that's a nice picture there on the right. A little bit more modern, but still in the pre-GPS satellite era. There's a T3 theodolite on the right. In the middle that's a telerometer. That is a microwave distance measuring instrument capable of measuring very, very long lengths out to 25 or more miles. And then there's a little mirror there used as a target. You got to aim the sun back to someone that could possibly be 20, 30, 40, 50 miles away. And you're using that as a pinpoint target for him to aim on. All right, let's go on. Oh yeah, here's what I was alluding to just a little bit ago. On the left is a map of New Jersey. You can see it's a little distorted. It's not quite the right shape. It's getting there. You could even look at earlier maps, and they're just, they look like a child's cartoon. They're the best representation of the land that they could do at that time. A lot of it was done using sextants, and very difficult, but they did the best they could to make those maps. Now on the right, you're seeing a triangulation diagram of the sight lengths made across the Delaware Bay. And this helps, like I said before, create a better framework to then do the topographic surveying to map the land, to actually locate land features like streams, rivers, inlets, and then, of course, there was a lot of hydrographic surveying that took place to map the shoals, the little islands in there, and so on. So this is this takes time and effort, and it takes a long time to be able to get these things done. So this is just a look back at history, and it's to me it's a very interesting history because so much is built on this. The fact is that all of these maps are used for commerce, for shipping, for navigation. How do you get from one place to another? Everything is dependent upon having this reliable data, this information. All right, let's move to the next one. So the other thing surveyors do is leave behind markers that will be used by others. And Tim Osmond will recognize this one. This is a mark called Deserta. It's out there in the desert along Route 80. So if you haven't seen the video, we drove Route 80. We did it twice and with different equipment. And on the way back, we went along the railroad track, and I was very interested to recover the old geodetic triangulation discs that were set there long ago to make the original maps of that area. And we did find them. And when we checked into them with the GPS, we were hitting them for better than a few inches. So let's look at the next one. Here's one that has not really held up over time. That disc was just kind of wobbly on the top. I kind of wished I took it. Some people collect these discs, but I left it behind. But you can see the concrete is all worn away over time. And let's keep going here. I just love this picture. This was taken back in, or I think around 2000, 2001. And that marker is called Jefferson Pier. It's a large granite stone with a disc on top. And near the Washington Monument, you could see at the time they were doing some repair work to the Washington Monument. I just love that shot with the sun coming up. That job was, we were hired to do a bunch of surveying throughout the entire city to establish points that Nextel and other cellular carriers could use as testing points for their equipment. Because back then it was, I guess, mandated, the mandate was coming that phones would have to be able to provide positioning data. And that was an interesting job. You couldn't park anywhere. So, this traffic was so bad. I just said, listen, we're going to go light, grab what you need. And we went light. We took just the bare bones equipment with us, and we used taxis. And we just drove from one place to another, hopped out, did some survey work, hailed another taxi, jumped in, and kept going. We got the job done in 3 days. All right, let's keep going here. All right, just a kind of a wrap up on the mapping. So there's the state of New Jersey. And here we see how we carve that up or slice it up into convenient sections. These maps are, this is where the topographic maps come from. The 7.5-minute quadrangle series are just little sections of the earth flattened out. And you can see on the right, in that green, you'll see a BM and a BM, and that stands for benchmark. Those are the control markers that were used to go ahead and do all the topography and the topographic surveying needed to map out those streams, map those roads, and so on. All right, so let's keep going. So here's where I'm going to take a little turn slightly away from surveying, but full disclosure, who's this guy you're listening to? I got on the Twitter, I guess maybe it's been a few months now. And so I post things there. You can keep going here. I've gotten my first troll. Go to the next slide. So this person here, he's unfollowing me, and he doesn't like what he doesn't like what I'm posting on Twitter. I'm sharing things there that, I guess they're out of bounds. You can't. He's made some assumptions, basically, and but he's not interested in a dialogue. He's just calling me out, and I'm a tinfoil hat wearing, anti-vaxxer. I'm getting called a lot of names, and I don't really care. It's like, you don't even know what I think, so you don't like what I'm posting, and this is how you're going to act. So, and I'm called a flat earther now. It's just hilarious. So let's keep going. So he made mention that he doesn't like what I'm sharing on my community tab either. You can, this is my YouTube channel. I throw things up on the community tab that interest me or get my attention. So you can go to the next one. We're involved in, unprecedented times right now. And I'm putting up there things that get my attention and that I'm looking at. And guess what? I get to do that. Call me whatever you want, put me in whatever category you want, but that, you're in a category too. You're a person who says you're going to turn me in. You're going to make sure everybody knows I'm looking at these things, but you have no idea what I think, so be that way. Go ahead. Let's keep going. And in a way, this is probably how flat earthers have been treated. These police officers made an impact on me, basically, what they had to say and what happened to them. Let's keep going. Oh, look at here. YouTube has protected everyone, and they've removed this video. So everyone's safe now. You don't get to see that information. Whether it's right or wrong, do we want people, just deciding what we can see? I don't think so. Yeah, I do listen to and watch some of the videos that come out from Suspicious Observers. He puts out some good videos. Some people don't like what he's saying. Then don't watch them. So let's go to the next one. But we do have Professor Dave Explains, and now we don't have to look at anything the electric universe has to say anymore because he has debunked it thoroughly, and now we can move on. Don't waste your time there. Let's keep going. But I do like his flat Earth videos. He does a good job. So this is I can hardly put this into words, like how this all ties together. But I just wanted to at least come online today and include some of this. Let's keep going. I will get to surveying here shortly. I like this video a lot. If you haven't seen it, it's a good take on weaponizing the flat Earth movement. Dave Hilster is a dissident scientist who's asking questions, and there are a lot of them out there, but for some reason, there is a camp of people who think you don't get to do that. If you are questioning the mainstream narrative on science or anything related in the medical field or anything like this, then you are a pseudoscientist or a tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorist. And that's just not productive. So I don't see it that way. All right, let's keep going. I think now we're going to jump back into surveying after this one. This is where I left it off with this individual who he hasn't been back. And he's dropping Wolfie's name. He's like saying, because I'm doing what I'm doing, I must not appreciate Wolfie. Well, I have the utmost respect for Wolfie. I mean, this is just, it's mindless. This is no way to even engage in any of these topics, be it that you are right or wrong. I'll tell you my experience with George Natchek. I like George a lot. He doesn't see the electric universe as anything, valuable. But we're friends. I told him, you know what? All I want is the right to be wrong. Let me be wrong, but I'll find my way, and each of us has to find our own way. You've got to examine things and listen to things, but it turns out a lot of people listen to others. They're gonna just, if you mention a name that somebody published something, the first thing you do is go to Wiki Rational or whatever it's called and go find out what does everybody else say about that guy. Oh, he's been dismissed. Then I don't need to spend any time looking at it. That's no way to be. I don't roll that way. All right, let's keep going. So now we're back to the topic at hand. I just wanted to make sure you knew where I am with these things. The simple point of it is this: no matter what I believe, if I operate the surveying equipment correctly, it's going to produce the results that Chris Van Matre's equipment will produce. Okay, the difference is I'm going to show you the measurements. Chris Van Matre will not show you the measurements. So, or any of these other so-called flat Earth believing surveyors. They are doing what I'm doing. Doesn't matter what he believes or what I believe. Show us the measurements. That's going to show you, the reality. So this is a video I put up to just draw the attention to the fantastic work George did. Single-handedly put up all those targets. You got to look at what he did. When I saw him doing that, I dropped everything. I said, I got to go out and see this. I got to go help out. I called Downley. I said, man, we got to go. We went, and it was great. I hadn't ever been in such cold weather conditions before. It gets cold in New Jersey, but not like there. So this was a phenomenal test, and it is for the records, honestly. George didn't leave anything out. He created the targets to appear in the field of view, all at similar sizes based on perspective. So, this whole thing, you didn't take perspective into account. Oh, no, he actually did, and he cut them the right size. We've got perspective covered, refraction covered. Just an amazing effort here, people. And, it's hard to get out on water, but when it freezes, you can walk on it. So this was a fantastic test, fantastic laboratory, and all the data was captured. And then Walter Bislin made an incredible report on all of that data. So you can go see this video, and you can definitely get to the links to go see Walter's work. Amazing. Let's keep going. Okay, Route 80, going out with Tim Osmond there in Utah. This is a video that shows what we did, how we did it. Take a look. I opened the video with GPS being used on construction equipment, farming equipment, because there's this huge, debate about, oh, GPS doesn't come from satellites. So what? I don't care if it works because we okay?
Yeah, we good. We good.
Okay, so it doesn't matter so much how it works, although it does matter. But if you want to if you just want to toss out GPS because you believe it doesn't come from satellites, you're missing the point. So you want to say it comes from cell towers. Okay, let's give you that. It works. It measures very, very well. And we used the GPS to measure the shape of Route 80 across the Utah flats, salt flats. All right, let's keep going. And then here is where you can go to Walter's app and literally calculate the radius of the Earth using these points that were collected along that route. Take any sample of them. You can take, you just take samples of 3 triplets, just 3 points on a circle. You're going to be able to calculate a radius. And it's an amazing thing. Is it flat? Sure looks flat, but here's the real shape. Okay, let's keep going. Now, I just got this from Walter, and he went ahead and superimposed the measurements that I made of the Lake Pontchartrain Bridge. And unfortunately, because I'm unable to, these slides are being shown, I guess, from Jose's computer now. I can't demonstrate this to you. So I will need to do that. I will make a video demonstrating this, because what you can do with this app is turn the image off, okay, and then rotate out of this view and go linear or perpendicular to the view, and you can watch the humps descend down to what they look like normally from the side. And then you can rotate it back and watch the humps grow. And it's the same thing as, like, picking a pool stick. There's 5 pool sticks up on the rack. You're going to look at some of them. And how are you doing it? Not from the side. You're looking at it along the edge or along the line of it to see if it's straight or not. And you're going to see the curve. And if you're picking out lumber at Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever, you're not going to look at it from the side. You're going to look at it along the line, from one end, and you're going to throw the curved ones back up under the rack. You're not going to take them. So that's all we're seeing here. And this picture seems to just make people go crazy, accusing soundly of lying, and others of they did something to compress this and all that. No, this happens naturally. And people who are professional photographers and know about this can speak to it. I can speak to those dots. I located those dots. I did that twice. I did it in 2017 and I did it in 2019. And we get the same results, used different equipment, did it in the day, did it at night, just ran the route back and forth, logging GPS. And you can see the videos I did on that. So, all right, let's keep going. All right, level. Now I'm going to have to share a link so that somebody can post what I have to say about this.
Yeah,
Hold
you
on
got
a
it there.
second. Control C and good.
Yeah, I'm here, Jesse.
Hey, George. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. I got delayed. I was at Home Depot picking up plumbing supplies, and boy, what a zoo it is on a Saturday morning there. It was really crowded. It took forever to get checked.
Oh, good. Then you missed the whole part of me kissing your ass.
Okay.
So I have a blog, and I started to think lately that instead of going and making all these videos, and some of these videos become too long for anybody to watch, I thought, you know what, it's just time to just throw information up someplace that people can go and look at it. And there's all this chatter about what level means. Is it flat? Is it horizontal? Is it, here it is. This is the definition of leveling in surveying text. You can just scroll through. We don't need to, if you just scroll up that blog, I'm throwing up and pasting in old books, read it for yourself and learn something. You can just read these books and learn what level is. Okay. So yeah, just glide on down. There's several, and I link them all, so you can click on them and get a copy yourself. These are just old, out of print surveying texts that you can get the PDF files for, and see
Cool.
how
Thank
things
you very
used to
much.
be done.
Do you have access to the YouTube chat? If maybe you want to share this link in the YouTube chat, or you want me to share it? It's okay. I'm all right.
You can do that,
Sure. All right.
and then we'll continue with the presentation.
Yes, sir. Let me throw this link in here. This one, just watch it on your own time, guys. Let's go.
All right. So then plane surveying comes up from time to time, and I hear different things about it. So I did the same thing. I'm going to give you that. Let's see here. I'll give you that link. I'll be smart about it and give you the next link sooner.
Yeah.
There we go. It's kind of cool the way we can get this done, even though I've got limitations on my end. So again, I just threw this together saying plane surveying isn't flat. They get so excited reading the word plane surveying that they just didn't read the rest. These books all talk about a spherical Earth and, make the distinction between plane surveying and geodetic surveying. And if you were interested to learn about it, you certainly can. You could just go here and read some of this, and then you'll know. So that one's
Perfect.
That one's fine. And then let's go to the next slide.
Sure. And that is the link we just saw in the YouTube chat.
And then you keep hearing, oh, we could see too far. And I'm saying, I don't know if you're seeing far enough. If you think the Earth is flat, you ought to be able to see a whole lot farther. So let me give you that link here. This is a pretty cool collection of information. There we go. So I took this from a slide presentation, and this is one of the longest triangulation sight lines ever observed, and it's about 190 some miles. I don't know of any triangulation that was observed longer than that. So that's about it. Nominally, most triangulation is on the order of 10, 30, 50 miles, that type of range. And then there are the occasional 80 to 100 some miles. But you need to get to an extraordinarily unique place to be able to observe a line of this type of length. And I also put the link to the photography that was done up in the Alps, I guess. And you can go down a little ways. Dr. Robert Burke posted a little article and talking about the longest sight line on Earth. And it's interesting. So, this is just information for people to consider. Look at it. It's there. Yeah, there it is right there. I guess it was at sunset, and they took some photography. You could see these mountains very far away during sunset, and took the pictures. All right, let's keep going in the presentation. That's my take on seeing too far. Isn't far enough. All right, let's keep going with the next slide. Okay, surveying instrument limitations. You'll hear that. Did I spell that right? Yeah. You'll hear this said, and well, they don't really know what they're talking about when they say it. They just are passing on something they believe because they heard someone else say it that they deem as someone worth believing in. But all you need to do is look up whatever model instrument you're talking about and look up its brochure, look up its specification sheet, and it will tell you, how far it can measure. So I'm going to give you, and keep in mind, we're talking about two different things. An old theodolite instrument does not measure distances. It measures angles. And so you can measure as far as you can see. If you could see something and repeatedly point on it consistently over numerous repetitions, you can measure an angle to it. It doesn't matter how far away it is. And that's how triangulation works. As far as measuring lengths, well, that's a more modern piece of equipment, the EDM, the electronic distance measuring instrument. The early ones, the K&E Rangemaster measured, 25 or more miles. What I'm going to show you next here, and I'll get you the link.
You want to check your mic really quick, Walter? See if we hear you.
Mic check.
Checked. We hear you loud and clear. I think Jesse is close to getting to the end of this one. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, I am. So here I shared a very long line EDM measurements and reciprocal zenith angles. This is a report. You can keep scrolling down. I recreated it in my software. I took that report, took the observations, input them manually, and did some analysis on them. But they were measuring very, very long lines. And that was with the old geodometer 8. And they called it Big Red. And that thing, they never did find out what the limitation of it was, because the thing could measure hundreds of miles. So there's an amazing piece of equipment. Again, I just shared this on the blog. This is how things were done. You can see pause, go up a little bit. See right there, what you see is a station where they have all these retroreflectors combined. They just hooked them all together. Normally we use like 1 or 2 reflectors. They made a huge bank of these reflectors so that they could, capture that light and return it. And then you could see a T3 theodolite standing there next to it. And they measured reciprocal zenith angles simultaneously all day long, recording temperature and pressure. So that's it on this whole surveying limitation business. Back to there. Oh, here's also, I'll give you these two. The Great Trigonometrical Survey of India. Let me show you that. And yes, we are closing in on the end. I hope this hasn't been too long for folks. I'm sorry for all the technical...
Oh, this is perfect. Not a problem there.
Okay, good. Yeah, we're coming up on an hour, I guess.
Stanley, you want to keep this account or you want to switch to a different account? It's up to you.
What do you mean?
All right. Oh, you're waiting for me to share, Jesse?
Yes, I gave you the
Sorry.
link to that side. No problem.
Just a quick second here. Hey, Stanley, George here. Could you get on Skype? I'd like to grab that drone footage we took when that morning before I took you to the airport. If you could transfer it to me, I'd appreciate it.
I don't know where it is right now, George. I have to go find it.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's continue here, Jesse. We're almost done here. Am I still sharing the screen?
Yeah, did you do it yet?
I got the link up. Yeah, the Great Trigonometrical Survey of India.
Good. I'll be right with you. I was just grabbing the next link.
No problem.
Trying to stay ahead a little bit.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Jose.
Hey, George.
In your trailer, you had a few seconds of Stanley's drone footage on Rainy Lake.
Yes.
Call where you have that.
Yeah, that was on Jesse Kozlowski channel.
Oh,
Well, one of his uploads, yes.
I'll look for it, George.
yeah, I'd like to. Okay, go ahead.
So you did get that from my channel. I'll grab that. It was,
That one
you know
clip,
what?
yes.
It was probably one of the hangouts you and I did, George, looking at the data after. Yeah, but let's continue here for a minute. The Great Trigonometrical Survey of India. There's so much information you can get on this. And people need to wonder, ask yourselves, like, how do we know how high Mount Everest is? Well, it's been measured so many times. These are early maps showing the triangulation. Just scroll down a little bit. And here's a close-up where down along right there, you could pause. Down along the lower portion of the diagram or the map, you'll see the chains of triangles. That's the arcs of triangulation measured. And then you could see these long sight lines going out to all those peaks. That's where they measured the horizontal angles to the peaks and the vertical angles in order to compute elevations. And there's a whole lot more that goes into this. I mean, that's a very simple explanation. Larry would, not approve of me leaving out details like the fact that all those had to be leveled through. A lot of them are leveled through, not every one of them. Here you're looking at the slopes of the geoid. This is done back in the 1800s. They were already discovering the gravity potential using pendulums at altitude and at sea level and measuring the differences, comparing the leveling done. And go down one more, you'll see just slide down just a little bit. Right there, good. You're looking at the actual slope of the geoid heading up into and toward the mountain range, and there's Mount Everest at the top. And so that mass pulls. I mean, it literally pulls the plumb line. It pulls and causes your instrument to be level in relation to that pull. This does get into the in-depth discussion on geodesy and what that is. Because we find that we can actually measure these trends, we can detect them using these high precision instruments. And then you need to come up with a model so that you can do calculations on it. This thing is so irregular, you cannot create formula that are going to work on that irregular surface. So what they did was come up with a spheroid. There's the Clark spheroid of 1866. There's the Hayes. There's Bessel. There are a lot of these geodesists that took all of these measurements and tried to compute a best fit mathematical surface called the spheroid or the ellipsoid, so that you could do positioning calculations on that surface. So you've got to convert your terrestrially measured measurements that you're measuring and convert them to geodetic measurements. And this is just done very simply now by computer. I mean, but these guys were doing this by hand. So again, just a little bit more on site lengths and trying to bring some sense of reality to this whole discussion. This is a fantastic, I'm giving you the links to where you can pick up and look at all these maps, charts, books, reports. It's a good site.
Awesome.
So, all right, let's go to the next. I think, yeah, here's the link for the next one. I didn't pop it in yet. I don't want to leave this out. And I think we're going to be done in a few more slides. That's the transcontinental triangulation and the American arc of the parallel. It's a special report number 4. It was produced in 1900 and is discussing, pause right there. You can see that dark line going across the country, starting in New Jersey in Cape May on the 39th parallel and going right across the country to California. And it's an arc of triangulation with baseline measurements, astronomic stations. Periodically, you can see the little, when you zoom in and look at this map, we can't do it now, but take a look at this and you will see the astro stations where they measured latitude and longitude, as they went. So this was a huge effort, an enormous effort. Now let's go ahead down through this. I just pulled out some pictures from this book and keep going down. You'll see some of the instruments used. Look at the size of that telescope. It's an amazing theodolite right there. Yeah. What do you think of the styling of the clothes? I'd say bring it back.
I like it. Yeah, sleek, very sleek.
I like it. So look at this. Like they would have to build practically an observatory because they were going to be up there for so long, measuring angles to stations, all around them. So this was like a large campaign, a huge effort, lots of people involved.
This is dangerous where they got these little forts they built. It's dangerous.
Yeah. So you've got, cooks and, maintenance staff. You got there's a huge amount of people involved in these survey parties going out and roughing it. I mean, you were out there. You didn't go back to a hotel that night. You were out there. So it's just cool stuff. And I find it very fascinating. I appreciate the opportunity to share all this because others may enjoy looking back at some of this as well. Yeah, here we are. Look at that. They're on horseback or mules. I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, very cool. Horses.
Yeah. So, yeah, this was back in the day. I mean, this is where most of these peaks, the heights of these peaks were measured. This is a sample of an observing, an actual, it's a station, but it's a target. That there isn't meant for the instrument to be on, but for instruments to aim at from far distances. So yeah, let's see what the next, I don't know what the next slide is coming up. All right, standards and specifications. We don't have to, I think I'm going to, well, should I throw it in? I'll throw it in. I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
Might as well. I've got just a few more to go, and then we'll have a complete show here. Oops.
Got it.
Got it. What I did in this blog entry was give you links to lots of the documentation anybody can come in and look at to answer some of the questions they keep coming up with is, how far are you supposed to be able to see? And we hear you can't measure that far, blah, blah, blah. All of that. Well, go look it up, find out. Surveying is practiced according to methodologies, tried and true. Those methodologies are derived over experience, over time. And the thing about it is that once you discover the best way to go about something and come up with the best practices, and you publish that, now it's out there. Now anybody else can try it and do it. And we find that we're able to repeat ourselves. So again, it's not what I believe and think, it's what am I doing? How am I operating this equipment? What results am I going to get if I do it this way? You can certainly find out what you'll get when you do it wrong. You can really make blunders. You can and you'll find them, you're like, oh my God, I probably shouldn't have done that. You're not going to set your instrument up at your knee-high height above the water. Why? Well, because you're going to be wasting your time. You're not going to get any good measurements from that. But yet you see people setting up their cameras 2 and 3 feet high above the water to record all this junky, blurry, wavy footage. Well, what do you, if that's your intent, well, then you did a good job. But if I said, hey, could you go down to the Chesapeake Bay and record some footage for me down there, and you brought that back, I'd look at you like, what? Why'd you do that? I mean, I wanted to see something. But anyway, yeah, so we have methods, we have procedures. You follow those, you're going to get the correct results. And the evidence is all around us. It's the bridges, skyscrapers, tunnels, the maps. Okay, so that is the result of what we do as surveyors. All right, let's go to the next slide. And I guess I'm not going to do that. Oh, maps and charts. Here we go. I've got you a link.
Oops. Roman. Cool.
This is a one-stop shop for people to come to and look up maps. Of course, that's United States only. There are links, and you can do the same thing for Great Britain, Australia, and I'm just more familiar with the US, so I'm giving you that. You can open that link. We're not going to do it in this presentation, but I want you to go back and take a look on your leisure, at your own time. Click on those, find your map that covers your location. You're going to see the measurements that were recorded long ago. And then you can actually research and look up the station markers, okay, and go find them. Go take a look. And it's a big interest among geocachers. At least it used to be. I don't know if that's even a thing anymore. Oh, go up. You're going too quick. Right. Let's pause right here. So, geocachers like to go out and find those markers and record them. And, it's fun to do. Then what you're seeing here are the nautical charts. You can go to that link and look up the actual nautical chart covering your area or an area that you have interest in going to. And it covers the Great Lakes. Let's keep going a little bit down. This link here is right here, this one. Definitely check this out, people. These are USGS topographic maps. You can go here, you can find your maps in your location. And the cool thing about this site is that you can look at them over time. So you can look at the more modern ones, which of course are done. That'll disappear in just a second. Yeah, there you go. So you can zoom in, you can go find your location, go down to Florida there, Jose. You can find the maps that cover your area. And the more modern ones are done with aerial photography, LiDAR, that's laser scanning basically to get the topography, the elevations. But you can go back in time and look at vintage maps through the 50s, the 40s, the 30s, and go back in time and find from the 1800s. So, and they're beautiful maps too. I mean, they're all, look at this, 1921 you have there.
Oh,
So-
very cool. Okay, okay, got it. So it's easy. Once you click in an area, I will give you the option to open it. Very nice.
Yeah, and you download that as a PDF file, and these are all hand drawn. Just it gives you just some depth of where we've come from and the amount of effort involved in doing this. So that I like that one, and
Very cool. Very cool.
yeah, it is pretty cool. And the next one down I found just recently is like you can operate this one right on your phone. It's just nautical charts in real time, and you can choose the background. The background image could be aerial photography or topographic maps if you're over in the United States. But this right there's the English Channel, and all the buoys, all of the navigation aids are all positioned. And I think we're getting maybe a couple more slides to go. Oh, by the way, did you see that? That's Antelope Island. I had to include that.
Nice, nice. All right, let's go. Let me open the next slide.
Yeah. Okay, now here, reporting the results. This is an ongoing project that I'm doing. I am not ready to show it yet because I'm not done with it, but I've just decided to take a look back at all the measurements I made doing these little projects and cataloging them into like a database of the final results of these and doing some analysis. So that's a work in progress. And that's just a snapshot from the Excel file of that. Let's go to the next one. Oh, by the way, go to the next one. I think this is where I mentioned this guy here, imagined expertise. The trouble you have, though, when you share measurements, you're going to have people out there that take those measurements and they don't approach it in humility with the idea that, hey, I don't know anything about this. Let me learn. No, they don't need to know anything. They're going to just flip it over, turn it upside down. This guy, Edward Hendry, published a book. He took my measurements and he flips them over. I mean, he just like does a complete debauchery of it. And you look at it and your jaw drops. You're wondering, how do you have the nerve to do that? Like, you think it's like he published this book. It's like, gotcha. And he's calling me, a liar and deceiving people. And no, the fact is, you're the liar. You're like, you don't even know what you're doing. And you just have the nerve to publish this book, put my name in there, put my measurements, take stuff from my videos. And it's like, dude, you're not talking about just me. You're taking standard surveying practice and demonstrating that you don't know anything about it. Just flipped it all upside down. And, he's another one of these guys. I think maybe this is where this whole notion of that surveying measurements have site limitations and, and I'm using them beyond their capability. You're actually wrong about that. You don't even know what you're talking about, but you have, and you're supposed to be the one seeking truth. And, I've given you truthful information. It's repeatable. Some of these tests I've done over and over, and you can see the repetition there, which you're going to see what we're doing now. Next is something very, very, very interesting. And so my next thing here is keeping it simple. Let me give you that link.
Got it.
All right, let's just come up a little bit and then we'll pause right here, just so everyone knows what this page is. I thought, you know what, the videos didn't help. Let me try this a different way. Let me present in a very simple fashion the results of the effort. And I make sure people understand that taking a picture through the theodolite, that's not standard surveying practice. That's not what we do. But hey, I'm the guy looking through there. Let me just take a picture and show you what I saw. This is what it looks like. And in this case, number one, viewing Philadelphia from Apple Pie Hill. That came from my curiosity to go see what was said about this in that flat earth proof number 3 land ho video. This is one of the examples given. And I said, well, I used to go up to that fire tower all the time as a kid. We would always go up there, but I never thought to look to see if I could see Philadelphia. So I brought my auto level up there. This is what I saw. So I'm creating the level. It's level at the fire tower, and the horizontal plane extends out, and the crosshair is intersecting, nearly at the top of the building. Let's keep going down. People can look at these, and I include other details. Let's keep going. People can go here and click on the details of these benchmarks in the city of Philadelphia and so forth. I made a video about it. Number 2, viewing New York City from Fire Island Lighthouse. This is what I saw. I was on a lighthouse. My telescope crosshair is at about 160 feet, and I'm hitting the top of the Empire State Building. Let's keep going down.
Being multitasking, kind of keeping an eye on the chat too. We got some fun entertainment in the side chat.
I do appreciate your operating the slides, man. It's working
Hey, not
out
a problem. Yeah, I got my phone on my side, keeping an eye on it, because if I pop the chat in here, it will be, it'll be a mess.
Okay. Yeah, let's keep going down to number 3. Oh, by the way, stop there. I give you, let's go up slightly. Thank you, Jose. I'm giving you the links to the NGS data sheets for the Empire State Building. If you click on those, you will get that information. Let's keep going down. Number 3 is viewing Cape May Lighthouse from across the Delaware Bay. That's what I saw. So my crosshair is at around 20 feet. I'm up on a sand dune, and I'm hitting the top of the light. Let's keep going down. And I took the tide gauge information there. Here's a couple topo maps. These are my observations plotted on the nautical chart. And this is me doing a survey of the lighthouse. You can keep going down. You'll see there's my theodolite. And I did a measurement to the light to determine its elevation. So I'm using my own survey information to report that. Number 4, this was a great, unexpected, unplanned day. I went out to visit Tim. He hosted me, and I really appreciated the ability to come out and see him and stay there and hang out for a couple days. And the purpose was to go and drive across the salt flats and record the GPS measurements. But this was like unplanned. He just said, let's go out to Antelope Island. And that morning I said, man, I should get an instrument. And he rented an auto level, and we went and did this. So that's, and I'm just reporting the location, the elevations, and just trying to keep it simple. You take a look at that, and this is what we see. Let's move down one picture. This is the surprising picture. Here's what happens when you set up the instrument near the water. I mean, does anybody see anything goofy? The horizon of the water is above the telescope crosshair. And Tim could tell you, I freaked out. I was like, what the? I thought the instrument was broken. I didn't know. I had never seen that before. And I'm, willing to admit it. It's like, I don't have a lake like the Great Salt Lake around where I live. And I had never set up an instrument near the water. So this should be a lesson to everybody who's wasting all this time, taking all this photography down in the water. You're just recording that. I measured it. you're just making video of it. Okay. So now, that should clarify that for everybody. There it is, about up above the water. There it is down in the refracted, disturbed atmosphere.
You gotta love it, yeah.
Yeah, it is about 4 feet above the water. So now let's go to the last picture in that segment. Is taken from what's it called? I've lost the name of it. Well, we're looking at Strong's Knob, but we're on Buffalo Point. That's what it's called, Buffalo Point on Antelope Island, and cool stuff. And we did a lot more. These are just a few of the pictures. We recorded a lot of data, and again, it wasn't even planned. He just said, "Let's go do it." He was going to take me out there, and we went, and this is what we got. And good memories. So let's keep going. And there's just some details here. There's Strong's Knob from the topo map. This one here is the 1 mile level line on Route 206. So at these 2 mileposts, I set some points, and then I set up the theodolite and the target at the same elevation. But we can see clearly that there's something going on here. I leave it to the viewer to decide what they think is going on here. All right, let's go down another one. And you'll see it looking back the other way. I think there's a close-up. Oh yeah, the close-up is in the enlarged view is right there. Again, theodolite and target set at the same elevation. That is, they're on a level line. Okay. I mean, I'll just explain to you what's going on. I'll tell you. The crosshair is level at the instrument, but you can clearly see that the level reference drops away from the horizontal. That's what the 8 inches times the mile squared calculates, the rate at which the level surface drops down away from the horizontal plane. That horizontal plane is established perpendicular to the plumb line at the instrument. All right, let's keep going.
Big ups. 157 people watching. Thank you very much, everybody, for checking in.
Let's pause here. Go up slightly. Yeah, go down from there. Oh, we're zooming in. Okay, yeah, just go up to that chart. I wanted to at least make the point that, again, as I said, taking pictures through the theodolite telescope or the auto level telescope isn't the measurement. I did go on to make numerous sets of measurements here, and these are sets A through F. I'm giving you the times and the zenith angles from 27 to 28, 28 back to 27, and the delta. That is, when you sum those, on a flat Earth, you would expect that to equal 180 degrees. And in every case, it's always more. So let's just want to show you that when you do repeated observations like this, you then can compute the standard deviation and the standard error of the mean. So you're looking at the precision of the repeated measurements. All right, let's keep moving down.
So is this one or continue?
Yeah, continue to number 6.
Oh, take it. Yeah.
There. This is essentially the same test as the one above it, but it's over water. So instead of me establishing the level, determining the elevation of the points, I simply used the lake, the calm water, and you can go look at the video, I recorded it, of the water. It's very calm. And this turns out to be 1.73 miles. So I set the instrument and the target up above the water surface at the same height. And I'm making the assumption that that's level. because we all know water seeks its own level. So I'm believing that, and I measured it, and this is what I see, the same thing. Telescope set with the horizontal, we notice that there is a drop. All right, let's keep going down. And that's looking from the other direction. And then let's keep going down. And I did it in the morning, and I did it again in the afternoon at a different height, just to repeat the same test. And continuing. After that, I went ahead and measured sets of zenith angles. Just go up a little bit. Right there. This is where I measured sets of zenith angles in the morning and in the afternoon. And those are the results. And again, this would be the same kind of, the taking of the pictures is not the measurement. Making these observations and doing it according to, say, third or second order type of specifications is the actual measurement. And it's the same kind of thing that you would do for constructing a dam or a bridge or what have you. This is the type of survey that we would do. All right, number 7, viewing Atlantic City from Wildwood. Somebody made the claim that you could see the beach at Atlantic City from Wildwood. I couldn't. I went to Wildwood. I couldn't see the beach. I saw that hotel right there, and I set up my instrument and set it to be horizontal there, and I was hitting the top of the building. So then I wanted to know, how high is the building? And I could go to, Wikipedia or whatever and find what they say the height of the building is, but instead I went and measured it. If you go down a little bit.
I'm sorry. Scroll down a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, sorry, I got distracted there.
That's okay. Here I drove from Wildwood up to Atlantic City and measured the building from the parking lot, and with the Trimble S7 imaging theodolite. It's an imaging total station instrument, pretty cool, and got the actual elevation. Now here is viewing, this is number 8. This is viewing Lakeway Center from the north side of Lake Pontchartrain. This is the T2 theodolite set horizontal, and that's what we see. Okay, those aren't the measurements. That's just a picture of what it looks like. I made numerous measurements triangulating the building from close by, and I did that back in 2017. I went back in 2019 and used the Trimble imaging station. I think I have a picture of that coming down. Look, one more down. Oh, this is just the tide gauge, getting you the elevation of the lake. Anybody can click on these links and go and find out what the water height was at any time. It's pretty cool. So here's in 2019, using the Trimble imaging station to measure the building again, and I was surprised at how close I came to the same elevations of the building corners. I was within like an inch. It was pretty cool. But yeah, go down a little more and you'll see the objective to this exercise was to locate Soundly's camera and get a good read on which window he was filming from. And so we have the actual elevation and location of the camera. Let's keep going. And I'll give you the links to the Walter Bislin model and the spectacular photograph that Soundly took. And
All right, I'll share that one. Let's see. 12, 16. Oh, did you share it yet?
well, let's finish this because I'm on a roll
Yeah,
here.
okay.
Let's
Good,
do
good.
that.
All right.
Because if you go down one more, there it is. That signed by Lance is his photo. It's gorgeous, and I give the link to where you can get that And what we'll be doing, like I said, I kind of began this with, and I will do another video because I couldn't demonstrate it here today. I'll demonstrate how that photo, the GPS observations lay right on top of it. And I'll demonstrate what happens when you turn it sideways. But I'll do that in another time. So let's go down a little bit more. I think there's 2 more entries here to look at. This one here I put on my blog, and it's contributed by and observed by the main surveyor. Hopefully he's either in the chat or like watching this, or might see it later. He made a fantastic observation here, and it's a very unique spot where this geodetic marker lines up with 2 lighthouses. And he liked the idea I had of just trying to simplify the presentation of this information into one picture, and did it himself, and it looks great. It's all there, and so I shared it for him right there. And I think there's one more. There's his nautical charts and so forth. And then the 2 videos he made are linked there. And this one here was, it took me a long time to finally create something with this data. I had seen this listed somewhere, and you can go and click the link to this newspaper, or just a little community paper called the Southport Globe newspaper. And it's sunset, and it was taken in 2013. And you could see the World Trade Center, just the top part of it sticking above Long Island Sound. So I had always wanted to go and see that. So let's go ahead and scroll down a little bit. And I went there, and this is what I saw. Not at the exact same place, but I give my location. So you're seeing this one is this the Empire State Building? Yeah, go down one.
Oh, this is across Long Island from South Pine Creek. Oh, but the actual building.
But I did 2 things. I did the World Trade Center. There it is. World Trade Center and the Empire State Building. I saw both of them and recorded through the Trimble 1-second imaging station, and also the Wild T2 theodolite. I did both. So you could just scroll down, and I just posted those there and made a little video about it too. And boom. I said boom. Go ahead.
Nice.
To me, that's a boom. So.
Did you take perspective into account, Jesse?
What's that? Say again?
Did you take perspective into account?
Oh, we'll get into that in a second. Very cool, Jesse. Very cool.
And I think that's the end of that one. And let's go to my last slide. I believe we're coming up.
I'm going to share this link in the chat really quick, so we have it on hand. If anybody's watching this already recorded, this link will be available in the YouTube chat. Okay.
So that's my attempt at trying to keep it simple. Now I'm going to show you what we're doing now. The surveying underway now is Larry came up with the idea to compute when the sun would be on the same line between him and I. Calculate when that happens and what time we need to be there to both measure vertical angles to the sun at that instant. And what fun. What can I tell you, man? That is like really cool. So we did it. We've done it twice now. And the plan is to do it a few more times to just see how well we can repeat ourselves and how well what kind of agreement we get with what the expectation is of the Earth's radius. This is basically Eratosthenes. Instead of sticks and shadows, we're using high precision instruments to measure to several arc seconds of precision. And so let's go to the last slide. I just got this from him at about an hour before coming online. There's the result of, I call him Larry Scott Sensei. He thought this up. I would have never come up with this idea, but I'm happy to participate. And it's just so cool that we can do this. And the thing is, we're getting real good at it. He's very, very good at it. He can observe a solar azimuth like in like 10 minutes, boom, boom, start to finish, bing, bang, boom. He's very, very good at it. He's keeping his chops up. He knows how to do this. I mean, he's been doing this a lot longer than me. And when I started, it was in the pre-GPS era, but not that far before. So I was doing solar azimuths back then, but then we stopped. I mean, we just use GPS. It's so easy, but we can repeat it, you know? So anyway, I'm enjoying just keeping the skills up and trying new things. This is a very cool idea. So you're looking at our zenith angles measured at the same time. We're separated by about 150 miles from his location to mine. So we did it on May 7th and then 13th, and we've got an average now. So we're going to watch this. We're going to do, now, I mean, we've got our equipment ready to go. And at any instant, we can look at the weather and go, looks like we're going to be able to do it this afternoon. Here's the time. Boom, let's go. And, I'm going right to the park near my house where I have a test network set up for testing equipment and things like that. So that's where I'm doing it. And Jeff is in Maine, the Maine surveyor. I guess we're looking at about a 400-mile difference between his latitude and mine. And Larry is a bit more south. So we're going to work it in at whenever we can. It's going to be a matter of watching the weather and do we both have clear skies at that time, and get some sets of these measurements at the same instant in time when the sun is on that line between us. It's doable. And here's the thing. So I'm showing you measurements, and we've got flat earthers out here with their channels, with a huge network of people. What have they done? When are they going to do something? I mean, they could orchestrate, Sly Sparkeen was one that said, hey, look, whether you believe it or not, or whatever hey, participate. I remember he put out a video saying, hey, go do this measurement with very little equipment, no surveying equipment. Just go do this. I don't think he got much participation. I don't remember. But the fact is, by now, you ought to know if the Earth is flat or not. And if you still think it is, it's only because you haven't looked at it. You haven't looked at your own ability to measure it for yourself. Another person I'll mention is Flat Earth Math, Charles. He's a very kind person, and he's always about, hey, be kind to one another. Hey, take some sticks and string and go do this test on the solstice or on the equinox. If you're interested, you would do that. If you're not, don't. Believe what you want. Believe the Earth is believe whatever you want. But that doesn't make it so. That's it. I think that's it for now. That's what I had to share today. Hopefully it went okay.
Jesse Kozlowski, thank you very much for taking your time and putting all this together. Excellent stuff. GPS threw a little super chat telling you thank you, and thank you for real. You put a lot of work on it. Lael earlier said, Jesse, can anyone that wants the data you collected driving across Lake Pontchartrain Bridge freely available?
Yeah, I mean, it's up there on Walter's blog. I loaded it. I mean, listen, it's simply a ASCII file of Earth-centered, Earth-fixed coordinates, XYZ. Or is he actually talking about, ask him in the chat if he's referring to the actual raw GPS files that I logged. Is this what he's asking for?
I think so. I mean, that was right in the beginning before you did your presentation. So I think, yeah, with all these links that you shared, the information he's looking for will be there available. Yeah.
Yeah, but when people talk about data, there's the raw data I collected.
The raw data, yeah.
In the vehicle. Not a lot of people are going to know even what to do with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If someone's interested, contact me and I'll talk to you. But here's because of what I've already learned with what like a guy like Edward Hendry does. You give him the measurements, and you're not dealing with an honest person, and he makes up whatever he wants out of it.
And the information on how people can find you, it will be on your channel. I'm going to link your channel in the description box and the rest of the guesses. Let me say a big welcome to everybody in this call right now. We got Jesse Kozlowski, George Nachek, Tim Osman, Soundly, Walter Bislin, and Blue Marble Science. Big All-Stars panel. Guys, if you want to chat among yourselves, and if I get any comment or questions, I will let you know. We got another thank you from Chris Victory. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Jesse, from Chris Victory. All right, I'll mute myself.
You're very welcome, and hello to everybody.
Howdy, howdy. Don't y'all speak up at once.
How you doing, Tim?
Good to see Walter on here. I've never heard him talk to people. I don't think he's going to speak, but Walter is a freaking genius. He's done some amazing stuff for us.
Absolutely.
After you guys chat a bit, I have some things that I'd like to add with what Jesse just presented. But I can wait a bit.
Yeah. Walter, say hello.
Why don't you go ahead?
Hey, Tim, I have a question for you.
Yo.
I wish that I had known about this before I came out. There's a place, someone posted it in my geodetic surveying Facebook group, a picture of, I should go try to find it. There's a place where you can literally go and stand and see the highway arcing. Do you know where that is? And there's like a sign there. Hey, here's the curvature of the earth. We should have gone there. Yeah. Here, I'm going to find it. I'll find it.
Wow.
While people are talking, I will. Well, you actually recorded it on those telephone poles when we were down on the flats near the railroad. You picked up some of that. It almost, it kind of resembled Soundly's power pole.
Soundly.
Hey. What's up?
Yeah, no, we're sitting out on the salt flats, like, oh my gosh, the telephone poles look like Soundly's observations.
Oh, I thought you were trying to Can I share my screen real quick?
Yes, you can. Yeah, you gotta hover your mouse down, and you're gonna have the big present now in the bottom. You can share a Chrome tab or a window or a full screen.
Let me
and thank you for joining, Soundly. I know you're kind of off this, the flatter topics and all this stuff, but this being the measurements you put a lot of work in. So thank you for coming and hanging out with us for a bit.
Yep. So I see Walter here, and I agree with Tim. He's probably not going to talk, but I thought it'd be fair to at least present his channel here and or his blog. You guys can see this, right?
Not yet. Nothing's coming through. So you present your screen, click on the window or tab, and then click share.
I've already presented it. Let me see what's going on.
The first time, for first time, Google Meet users sometimes doesn't work. You gotta refresh the page, just to drop and rejoin. Maybe that'll work. Hopefully that'll fix it. Yeah, hopefully that'll fix it up. Make sure your mic is unmuted now. You're muted if you're trying to talk, Sally.
No, I mean I'm presenting my screen, but it then screws up. I present it, it screws up, and I
Dang.
can't unpresent. So let me try and reload again. Hold on.
Jesse, I just wanted to say thank you for all the data you provided to me.
My pleasure, Walter. Thank you for taking a look at it and making use of it as you have. Fantastic.
Yeah, thanks, man. Excellent work.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you have given so much so much what do you say, food for thought and content for both sides, flat earthers and glovers. Thank you, Walter. Appreciate it. Good work, man.
He literally flat Earth dome map, and all of a sudden, right after he did that, I caught that 2 weeks later, Jeranism started talking about a personal atmospheric dome, which then I had found what Walter had made. So then they started with Dirk deep inside the rabbit hole's little clock that does not work at all, his little app. They started using Walter's. They cut it off of his website, gave him no recommendations or where they got it from, and just said, oh, this is how it works. They're actually using his model that it actually explains why it doesn't work, how it doesn't work, everything. They're actually using that still to this day.
Is my screen share working now?
It is not. What the hell is going on?
I don't know.
Is it a website? Oh.
Yeah. I'm sharing a tab.
Do you want to share
Let me
it
see if
in
I can
the
do mine real quick.
share in the Google Meet and maybe myself or Tim.
Here, let me.
Wait, now you're. Oh, mine
No,
is.
Tim is. I think his was coming.
Here,
Let me
Tim,
stop,
let me share this with you, Tim.
Yeah, try to.
And you just show it.
Yep.
I don't understand why it wouldn't work. So dumb.
The funny thing is my flat Earth dome model is entirely based on the heliocentric model and only mapped to the dome and the flat Earth.
That's the beauty. That's the beauty of it.
You got it, Tim? See?
Yep. Now it's up. It should be up right now.
Yeah, you're up.
Yeah, to start that animation over. To me, this is the thing. When you actually model the globe and you model this scene on a globe and you compare that model to the observations I've had and then alternative observations using GPS waypoints that Jesse has, and all three of those things match, right? I mean, they all match. So it once, and then I did that 10-hour live stream from the window last January, I think it was. After that, I mean, after you see all that together as one package, like it's over. There's nothing else to talk about. I mean, you are just delusional if you think the Earth is flat after seeing all that.
I literally haven't come on here very much, Stanley, but just, I don't know, maybe a week ago, somebody had your picture up and was like, oh, BS, this picture. And then on this channel, I pulled up your 10-hour line stream, the Get 2019 or whatever it was.
Right.
And I was like, he's sitting here zooming in, zooming out with different cameras, live 10 hours, showing you what it looks like out this window. And I'm like, oh, they're filming out a window. It's curved glass.
Mm-hmm. And so the buildings that are up close that all have straight lines, why aren't those curved? You know, it's like anything they say has already been like debunked over and over repeatedly. So there's just not much else to talk about. I mean, we're basically talking to people that refuse to accept facts. So at that point, there's nothing else to do. That's kind of why I got out of it, because I was just realizing there was nothing else I can do. If what me, Jesse, and Walter, and not just us, but all of us collectively, but I'm thinking from the perspective of our project. But if what we did is not enough, then there's nothing that is enough. That's my
Yeah, asking them. I started just asking them like, what could I show you? What could I tell you to show you that perhaps the Earth is a sphere? And a lot of them will actually just flat out tell you they already know it. It's flat. Like at that, we should just say, okay, well, good luck to you, and not even worry about it.
Exactly.
I should put together a best hits, playlist, because there's so many of them. Like the drone footage. Walter got me that Voyager 4, right? And I did that drone footage where I zoomed in and flew up and down, and you could see the city of New Orleans just going below the horizon, coming back up, and then the airplanes flying towards me. Airplanes flying towards me, they go under the horizon as they're flying towards me. Like that to me is okay, it's not perspective, guys. This thing's flying towards me. It's coming at me. It should be getting bigger, not smaller. And it still goes under the horizon. I mean, there's certain ones that are just they stand out as this is obvious. It's so obvious. Just look at this. But
Soundly, just
anyway.
Speaking of planes, I'm just going to talk about the plane video we intended to make. Do you have a problem?
Right.
So this was a quick, not well planned, but we did do this, and we never did produce something from it. Maybe somebody listening can figure out what's needed to make it happen. Here's the deal. As I'm flying, this is in 2019, as I'm flying to New Orleans, as we approached, I filmed with my phone out the window, crossing Lake Pontchartrain, and all the way to the landing to the touchdown. At the same time, Soundly's on the North Shore. We have that plane app. He knows it's my plane. He's filming my plane. And, it hit the water, right? Gone. All right, but I'm still flying. So I've got that footage. And Dandy Pandy is near the airport at some conspicuous location filming my plane land and touchdown. The problem was we did not know how to synchronize our footage, with time, because I was using a phone. I don't know what camera you were using, Soundly, and I don't know what Dandy has. But we have these 3 clips that we really wanted to pull together, and Dandy did a nice job. He did the best he could synchronizing those, but that would have been cool if we could have pulled that off.
It was also a little hazy that day, so it was hard to even tell exactly when the plane crossed the horizon.
Yeah,
but
you're really zoomed in on it, and it's silver.
Something happened. We had a time sync. We had a time sync issue between the 3 different sources. That was I think the time stamps were wrong actually on one of the devices. So I don't know exactly what happened there. It had to be my camera was off.
So anyway, that to be done. So if somebody wanted to do that, but hey, Tim, I did find this picture. I'm going to post the link in here. If someone wants to present it. Did anybody get that link?
I can share it. Yeah, let me present. I'll open it and I'll share it. George say he's got a little something. Oh, you got it, Tim. Thank you. Tim is presenting it, Jesse, for you.
Did you ever see that?
I personally have not. What is it?
It's a place called Wendover, and it's looking across the salt flats at nighttime as the vehicles have their lights on, and that's what you see. Someone dropped that photo in my Geodetic Survey Facebook group.
Nice. Yeah, I know what that is. That's just kind of on Wendover. You can go up on the hill and look over there. Interesting.
So yeah, that's Route 80, the northbound and southbound lanes, and over on the right is the railroad track.
East and west.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm saying northbound, southbound, east and west, of course. And over on the right side is the railroad tracks where we went along surveying, locating those geodetic markers. On the way
Stanley,
back.
can you mute while you're not speaking, because we got a little bit of background noise and it washes out when the others talk. Appreciate it.
Those two videos that I just linked, if anybody wants to play them, I mean, those two to me are just like super powerful. It makes it obvious, like what we're talking about here.
It's a conspiracy going. People say that you sound just like Dan the Waterman, Jesse. But we see you on camera and you are not Dan the Waterman.
George,
Lale type.
What
Yeah, George, if you want to present something, go ahead. The floor is yours, guys. I'm just listening here. If I got to move stuff around, but I'll stay in mute.
Okay, I'll or Tim's still presenting. When Tim is done, I can start.
now you want to present?
Yeah, one thing I was going to say is, can you guys hear me?
Go ahead,
Yes.
Yeah, just one point I was going to make is that I'm looking back at these videos that I'm saying are like super powerful videos that should convince anybody. They're like 2 or 3 years old. You know, it's like we're still talking about it. These things were like created 2 or 3 years ago. So it's just gotten silly.
Hey, you know why? Because the newbie flat earthers, they're not old school flat earth. They've missed out on the things Tim has done and you've done. They haven't even heard. They didn't even know who took your pictures. They didn't even know who that was. So there's a fresh batch made every day, and they only know the script. They're only being fed the script, and they don't. Where's all the old school flat earthers? I mean, at least they kept up with the thing. Again, I'm just gonna.
Bob and Jerry, they're all still here pretty much, but yeah, it's a little cult that they try to get more people and tell them the same stuff that they should know by now is totally wrong, inaccurate stuff for some reason.
Yeah, at least the Wizard of Oz came clean and tried to take Dorothy back home. But these guys, there's no excuse for what they're doing. They absolutely do not believe in the junk they are putting out there. And I'll just say this, if I don't get a chance to, I just want to kind of summarize what I've done today is simply this. I'm not here to argue with people. If you want to believe it's flat, have at it. My concern was for people that I personally knew that kind of started to get sucked up into it. And that's what got me interested. And I looked at it like the Dave D. Hilster video. If you look at that video, I think the flat earth whole thing is a psyop designed to poison anything else that's worth looking at or considering. All you have to do is just flip the whole flat earth thing on it and people stay away from it. So people have to think for themselves. Look at things, even if it turns out to be wrong. Look at it, see what someone's saying. And this whole business of scrubbing stuff off the internet because someone thinks it's wrong or it's going to hurt people, you're making people weaker because they are not going to exercise their minds to evaluate things. You say, so to me, that's even more important than the word flat or round. It's, hey, what's out there? What are people saying? Let the marketplace of ideas flourish and let people be able to see whatever is out there and make decisions. Look at the whole wide range. Don't get bogged down in all this political red and blue and that, all this divisiveness. That's not where it's at. You got to get beyond that. So yeah, I've got some opinions.
Before we go ahead and get George, Leo, click that link now because he got a question to ask, and if he click in and join really quick, it will be just a question.
Can I get my
Walter's
stuff in here
presenting
before we
it.
start asking questions?
Okay, he stopped presenting.
And by the way, just real quick, Walter or Jesse, that kind of showed that you're woke a little bit. I would have never guessed how woke you were before we had talked, but yeah, I think flat Earth is a psyop to make anything that's seen as anti-mainstream as a conspiracy theory to the nth degree. The flat Earth, and I've been saying that since I first heard of flat Earth, really. So
before you guys continue
Georgie.
on flat earthers, can I get this stuff in?
Yeah. It was just a quick question, but I let him in to ask his
wait.
question after the presentation. Go ahead, Josh. So should we let's get Leo's question. It's just a quick point, a quick question. It's not going to be a long discussion, and then we'll get Josh.
Nothing's quick.
All right, Leo, ask your question,
Lyle.
brother, and then we'll go with Josh.
So Jesse, I really like what you and Stanley have done. I like the pictures, but that's not what's important, because you can deny pictures and say they were Photoshop. If I wanted the information, or anybody wanted the actual raw data and could actually understand that data and learn how to read it, if they 3D modeled it in a program, would it come out exactly the same as what you modeled?
Yes.
So the pictures, who cares what, this sounds rude, but who cares what the pictures that Stanley took? That's not what matters. What matters is that the raw data in a 3D program matches those pictures and matches the bridge. That's what's important.
Well, once you do recognize that the data matches, the photos, that suddenly makes all my photos important. So
Right.
yeah.
Yep.
Anyways, sorry. And if I wanted the raw data, how long would it take me as an individual who's never looked at that data to understand and be able to 3D model that data?
Well, here's what I'm about. That if that interested you, I'd work with you and help you. So if you really had an interest to learn that, I would show you where there is online free software that you could use, and I'd help you every step of the way. Why? Because why should it just be me or Soundly or Tim or George? Let other people look at this data, make something of it, verify it, or show that it's wrong. But if you're interested, email me and we can start a tutor you. I mean, like if you have no familiarity or experience processing GPS data, I'll show you how to do it.
Well, that's kind of what I was getting at. Is it very easy for a random person to pick up that data and learn it on their own, so that a flat earther cannot say, well, you're just taking Jesse's word for it, and he's a glober.
Oh, I see. Okay, so you weren't asking specifically for you, but in general. I can't say that it's easy. It took years to learn how to process raw carrier observables in software, commercial software, and like I said, there's a thing out there called RTK Lib for RTK Library. It's an open source piece of software, and you know what? It's not easy to use it because of it's not commercially polished. There are these different scripts and routines you have to run, but it's used all the time. And, that's the whole point here, is that GPS today is used to build bridges like Lake Pontchartrain Bridge. I mean, it's used all the time to do this. So we're kind of retroly looking back at a bridge that was constructed in the 50s using conventional old school survey methodology. And we see how they did that. we can look at how they did that and replicate it with GPS today. So
Walter,
whether they
Walter's
do it themselves or not.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Walter
Thank you,
Shane, I'm not
Lael,
sure
for
if you
you.
wanted to
Yeah,
talk on-
thank you very much, Lael, and I'll open the panel for for some people to join in maybe at the end. I'm not going to be a little busy, but I can open it for a few people for the after show. Walter, you're up on the screen. Oop, you were. All right, I'll mute myself again.
Are we going to have a demonstration by Walter?
Can I
Is that-
get my stuff in here?
George is looking to have his stuff up for a while.
Yeah, go ahead, George.
Then can Walter go after?
10 minutes. It's no more than 10 minutes here.
Let's see it.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, I'm going to present. Okay, tell me when you get me, Jose.
I do not.
And by the way, I know was in the chat, and he'll be here later maybe, but my chat, I just showed several relevant links on Walter's site that he's taken the XYZ Cartesian coordinates and basically plotted them. So I don't know if would want to mess with XYZ Cartesian coordinates, but Walter's already done all the work for us basically. So go ahead, George.
Yeah, I don't see your screen share, George.
I don't know
Because
what's going on here.
Yeah, I mean, it's working normal for me. The screen share. Team worked well. For your Walter worked the screen share. Maybe you need an update, George.
No, I don't. Is not coming through?
Not at all.
I'm clicking on screen present. I've had problems with this before. I don't know what the hell that's all about. Huh. Shit.
Maybe moving forward, I know in the next week or so, maybe Jesse, every once in a while, hold on really quick. Maybe I'll contact you because there's a few people that they've been in the topic of the flat earthers, and they want to talk to you and ask a lot of questions, but I know it's not going to be only 1 minute. So it might be 30 minutes to an hour. So maybe one day you let me know when you can come in, and I can let the people know, hey, if you want to come in this day, this is the day to have a chat with Jesse over here. Not going to be a open panel, shouty and all over the place. It's going to be a nice, back-to-back discussion if you're up for it, Jesse.
Yeah, we can probably work.
You have it now, Jose?
Thanks.
Yes, we got it now, George. Cool.
All right. I have to thank you for this, actually, Jose. The other day when I was looking at your trailer, you had a few seconds of this Rainy Lake image on there, and I was looking, I go, whoa, Sonley captured something that I never noticed before, or I never really saw this footage, and I'm going to show you something about the Earth curvature. For those looking at this is Sonley's drone looking over Rainy Lake where I live. And Sonley and I went out the morning he was to leave. Both Jesse and Sonley came out and visited me for 3 days 2 years ago when I set up my targets out on the frozen lake. And we did a lot together in making measurements. Jesse had his precision GPS system. We got all the targets precisely set up with coordinates to within a few centimeters. And it was very enjoyable spending the 3 days with them. But this was in the morning before Sonley was to fly back to Louisiana. And the drone, I don't know how high the drone was up at this point. But anyway, I'm showing you with my pointer here. Sonley and I were situated on the west end of the lake, and we're looking down through this channel here. And this is out in what's called Seine Bay, and that landmass that you're kind of seeing there is about 25 miles away. And now watch what's going to happen here. I'm going to play this at 1 1/4 speed. This is on Jesse's channel called the Rainy Lake Survey Progress Report. And if you start at 36 minutes, 20 seconds, now watch what the drone is doing here. And pay close attention to these 3 islands. with respect to the background land that's 20 miles away. Out here, we're talking, these are probably out about 10 miles. And the background here is about 20 miles. And pay attention to the gap. You're looking at the white ice between the islands and the background. Notice how that's closing, that gap, as the drone is lowering. And then also watch the landmass here. It's getting thinner, or not the landmass, but the trees. They're getting thinner and thinner and thinner. You're seeing less and less of the height of the trees as the drone is lowering. That's because the curvature of the ice is hiding it. And we don't have all this ether banding, so-called, and refraction occurring, or things disappearing from the bottom up, like these crazy footages of oil rigs and ships. So I suggest you all go to Jesse's channel and look at this and really examine what's going on here. And you'll see this channel in here almost completely disappear as the drone reaches the ice where Sungli and I were standing. I mean, it's just going out of view. Now what I'll do is play, so this is from 36 minutes, 20 seconds to 38 minutes, 40 seconds. Now I'm gonna bring this back to 3750 and play it at half speed so you can really see what's going on here. So, okay, we're at 3745, and I'm gonna drop the speed down. Now, let's really examine, let's see, I want to go to 3750 here. Oops. Okay. Wait a minute, the timing's all messed up here. Let's see, 3640, 3750. Oh yeah, okay. Now, watch what's happening here with these three islands, is how they merge with the land that's 10 miles behind these as the drone gets closer and closer to the ice. You're just losing sight of everything between these islands in that 10-mile stretch, and then look at how thin those trees are getting. And keep in mind, the drone hasn't changed position. All it's doing is going up and down vertically, and the magnification remains the same. Yet, this stretch of trees in here gets thinner and thinner as the drone drops. That's because the curvature of the earth is hiding more and more of the trees, to the point where if you get, when the drone finally gets down to the land, to the ice, this almost totally disappears. So let's.
Hey, George.
Yeah.
Just one thing. I'm sorry to tell you, but there are no birds. You have no birds in the video, and so that's a problem. Tim Osmond's on the Great Salt Lake. We had birds.
Yeah. Now look at
Tim Osmond had hyenas.
You've got to have birds.
But look at Jesse, that corridor in there. Those trees have totally disappeared now as the drone gets closer and closer to the ice. We can no longer see the trees at the far end of Seine Bay.
It's an awesome, it's great footage. It's really good.
Because if we go back up, see, there we are. We're looking right in there, and that has totally disappeared as the drone has approached the ice. Now, one other thing here is I just want to quickly talk about level like you did, we're going to look at two different situations, a flat Earth and a curved spherical Earth. Here we have a flat Earth. Here's the flat Earth surface here in the middle. Now we have two observers, one at A, one at B. We set an observer up at A and we drop a plumb line, okay, a string with a weight on the end, and it's going to establish our vertical. If you establish a line going up and up vertically and down in line with the plumb line, that establishes vertical. Now horizontal is that plane that is everywhere perpendicular or right angles to the vertical. So you drop a plumb line, then your horizontal plane is at right angles to that plumb line. So this is our observer A, and we're some height above the flat Earth, and here is his horizontal, and it happens to be, because of the flat Earth, his horizontal is parallel to the surface of the flat Earth. Now, let's look at observer B. We do the same thing.
George, we're still watching the screenshot on the video on the YouTube. We're not seeing any other image. Because you were sharing a Chrome tab and not the screen.
Okay, let me see here. How do I go to Meet? I got to select a different window. Is that it? Huh.
You're presenting now your full screen. Yeah. Now you gotta switch. Now you gotta click on what you want us to see.
Is that coming up now?
No.
No.
No. We see the Google Meet window.
Well, what the heck?
Present the full, your entire desktop. The entire
George,
screen.
George, Alt Tab. Thumb
Pardon?
on the Alt button. Alt Tab. Thumb on the Alt button.
Okay.
And first finger on the tab, and scroll through whatever you have open. I'm an Alt Tabber.
Okay, let's try that. Is that coming?
Yeah, no. When he's, yeah, you gotta stop presenting and share your full screen, your full desktop, your entire screen, or just the window on the picture you want to present. Not a Chrome tab.
That's what I tried doing. Oh shoot.
Yeah, but right now you're stuck on the Google Meet thing.
Yeah,
so
I'm trying to. I've got so many windows up here. Hang on.
You gotta stop that one first and then reshare.
Yeah. Let's see. Shoot.
We're gonna go ahead and go another 20 to 25 minutes. Then we'll do a roundup, final thoughts from you guys, and then I'm gonna open the panel for everybody else. And I'm gonna just sit the computer in a corner to let everybody come in. If you guys want to stay, you're welcome to stay. But we're actually gonna wrap up the actual special presentation in about 25 minutes to half an hour.
Well, it doesn't look like this is happening.
In order to try to reshare, you have to stop presenting first, Josh.
Oh,
and then
okay.
try to.
Okay, I'll stop the presenting and then come back with it. Oh. Oh, I see what the problem is this isn't in a window per se. Shoot. Okay, I'll share this one maybe. Is that one coming through?
Yes, it is. We got red and green lines. Yep.
Okay. This is a way to establish whether or not the Earth is curved or flat. Yeah, I was hoping. Okay. All right. Here we have a curved surface. Now, local level is if you drop a plumb line, that establishes your vertical, and then anything at right angles to that at your point of observation is your horizontal or your local level. So if I say mount an auto level up above the surface of the Earth or any other curved surface, then that auto level is going to establish a tangent to the Earth at that point. That establishes the local level. And that is this line B that the auto level is shooting, and it is going to be parallel to the tangent that's touching the Earth at that point. That's how the auto level works. It has a compensator, an auto compensator in there that establishes level and a tangent that will be parallel to the tangent of the Earth at where the observation or the auto level is mounted. Now, let's say we take and we sight our auto level. So we have a tangent and we're going to sight out in a different distance. Now what we're going to do is move that auto level and set it up. You could have a pole here that you're sighting and put a mark on a pole like a 2x4 or get a Philly pole or something, and set your auto level so that the optics are set up in line with the tangent line that you had just shot. You have first your auto level here, you shoot your tangent out to a pole, you get a mark on that pole that would be in line with the tangent, and then you set your auto level up here. Now you do the same sort of thing, but you have moved position, so your local level is different on a curved surface out here than it was over here. Now, your tangent to the Earth is the green line here. So that's your level at this position. So your auto level now, when you shoot back to the original position, is going to shoot a level line or a tangent that is parallel to the tangent that's touching the Earth at this point. So the auto level is going to shoot a tangent that's parallel to the tangent shooting the Earth, and we're shooting back to the original position. Now, you see that this auto level is not going to be hitting the optics of this auto level. There's going to be this gap if the Earth is curved. If the Earth is not curved, then if you follow this procedure, I'll show you this on a flat Earth, what's going to happen is this. Here's your flat Earth. Okay, now I set my auto level up here at a certain height. And now I'm going to shoot a level line with the auto level. Whoops. So I'm going to take now and shoot my auto level. Now it's going to shoot a level line or a tangent that's parallel to the surface of the Earth. So this level line now, or what the auto level is shooting, is parallel to the surface of the Earth. Now I'm going to go ahead and move the auto level. Oops. Shoot. Oh, red. Okay. Now I'm going to shoot the auto level or move it so that, again, when I'm shooting the auto level out, I take a pole out here and I mark where the optics of the auto level is shooting, and then I move the auto level to that position and set it up so that it is in line with that tangent line that I shot out, and I shoot back. Well, if I shoot back, we can see that on a flat Earth, this auto level is going to shoot right back to the optics of this auto level. They're going to be coincident. Whereas on a curved Earth, they will not be coincident. You'll end up shooting high when you shoot back at the other auto level. And this will always be true. So those of you that are curious out there, you can get an auto level or rent an auto level and try this. And to establish that you're exactly at a proper height or whatever, you can do this near a body of water. That's important to do this near a body of water, because if you try to do it on land, land has contours, hills, and stuff that will skew this sort of a test. So you have to do it on a body of water. But you can try this test, and if the two auto levels sight one another, you know you're on a flat Earth. But if you shoot from an auto level out a distance and then move that auto level so that it's in the tangent line of the first shot, and then shoot back, and if it doesn't hit the auto level, you know you're not on a flat Earth. So that's the end of the story.
Thank you very much, George.
Nice.
I got a few quick comments I want to read over here before we go too far. A few super chats. Tweet, thank you for the super chat. Maybe Tim and Leo can team up and get some footage of the old Salter Resort. What a fun day that would be. Hi, Soundly, and presentation, Jesse. Thank you very much. Tweet. And Latonya Bentley with a big fat $40 super chat. Hey, Jose, for you and your brother, had some good fortune today and paying it forward. Glad to see you're still on Riley's balls. Boom. Love science. The earth is not flat. Dunning-Kruger at its finest. Thank you very much. And another $2 from Latonya, stepping on those balls. Thank you, Latonya. That was fun. Appreciate the support.
I have one thing, Jose, probably 2 minutes if you can.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, George, can I present here?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm all done.
You're still presenting.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Can you stop your present?
There you go.
Yeah, you're good. So George showed over the frozen lake, I'm guessing like what he was doing. I just pulled up 4 of my drone work over the Great Salt Lake. This is shot from the Causeway. George, you probably know all about that now. We're looking towards Stansbury, or no. What's that called again, George? That hump that comes up that we were looking at? Strong's Knob.
Yeah.
Strong's Knob. So I have 4 different drone videos here. This ranges about 6 months, different days that I've come. So like what George was trying to show, not only in this image does Strong's Knob start to get obstructed by the water level, all the mountains surrounding it at different distances start to do the same. So in this, as you start to go down, you start to see that Strong's Knob and whatever was just beside it, miles away, the mountain range behind it, is completely covered by this very, very level water. But then as you go down, the whole Strong's Knob has been obstructed by water. Just one observation, and the ether band was there or whatever. Well, like I said, I have many observations. This time Strong's Knob is going to be on the left here. You can start to see it kind of poke up. As you go, you start to see more of the mountain range in the distance, and you start to see more and more of Strong's Knob, just as the globe Earth would predict in the mountain range that's to the left and to the right, that you can't when you're lower down. So this is above all the atmospheric bull crap that the flat earthers love to do. This video 3 on a going all the way down and just doing a simple test of going all the way up. And again, Strong's Knob is starting to pop its head up. This mountain range is starting to reveal itself a little bit more. And this head should be like, with height, you see more. And when you're lower to the ground, the water is obstructing things that are hundreds of feet higher water level. So that's video 3 there. And just one more to bring it home. This is on probably one of the most calm level water days. Literally like hardly even a wave in how calm it is. And again, as we go up, Strong's Knob will be over here. Some of the mountain ranges around it start to reveal itself just as before we were seeing. And as we go up, we start to see and the mountain ranges around it. So this is something you would not expect to see on a flat Earth, giving given height, you start to see more and more of things that are obstructed by what you guys say is flat water, without obstructing hundreds of feet. So many different observations with cameras, with drones. I've done this many different times all over the Antelope Island, and I see the same thing. You can see it with your eyes as you're going to Buffalo Point. If you're looking at Strong's Knob, you can see it start to reveal itself as you go higher and higher. So I just wanted to put that out there. There's a lot of work that has been done soundly. Myself, nowadays we have a bunch of clowns like Team Skeptic, Fat Gord, and these people. They do nothing. They do nothing but basically make a show out of berating flat earthers that they say are mentally ill. So they make money off of berating what they think as mentally ill people. While people like Soundly, myself, Walter, all these people have actual, Jesse, have actually, George has done many tests, awesome tests. We actually go out and do stuff. So we have the evidence if anyone's has open eyes to see it, I guess.
I will attest to the fact that the Salt Lake in this part off Antelope Island is just a wonderful venue for doing these sorts of things. Unfortunately, when I was there last week, there was an awful lot of haze and mist or something there, and I couldn't see Strong's Knob as well as you could. I did hike up to the top of, what was that called again? The
Buffalo Point.
Buffalo Point.
Buffalo Point.
Yeah, way up to the top there. And I was surprised that the gnats followed me all the way up there. Those little buggers, they just would not break off the tack.
Yeah. Yeah, you need right now they say that the gnats are out and they're all around the island. So I don't even go out there. So like just after winter, just before winter, when everything's dead around there is the best. It's unfortunate. It's one of the most scenic, ridiculous places on Earth, but it is plagued biting gnats and very weird looking flies around the shore there. So.
Well, what happened when I first got there, the viewing was pretty good, but as the afternoon progressed, it just got worse and worse. I really thought I was going to get some nice footage of Strong Knob there at various heights. When I was hiking up, it's too bad I didn't take the measurements with the auto level as I hiked up. I thought I'd catch it on the way down, but it just got so bad viewing wise that I never did get a good set of measurements, but I definitely did see how much of Strong's Knob would reveal itself as you went up Buffalo Point and came back down.
Hey, could I jump in real quick?
Yeah, quite amazing. And unfortunately, for 6 months of last year, I couldn't even go out there because there was smoke from Thule and from California. So the viewing conditions for like 6 months of smoke and fire down in California. So but there's just sometimes where you just get absolutely ridiculous. Go ahead.
Hey, Tim, in the chat, click that link. I think you're still presenting. I just threw a link in there.
But I could see on the day that you have good viewing, Tim, that you could do some wonderful measurements there. It was a really unique set of circumstances. I was impressed as to how calm that lake is.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's ridiculous. I'm presenting what Jesse wanted me to do.
Yeah, you're up.
You know, we talked about this a while back, possibly renting one of these little drone boats and sending it across the lake and literally mapping, you know, the shape of the lake. And that would be cool. By the way, your footage insane. There, that footage that you were just showing was incredible. Just so beautiful there. It's so quiet. It's such a really beautiful place. And, but it's it's like a mirror. The thing's just a flat mirror. But you get one of these and log raw data and send it across north-south and then east-west and put the results into Walter Bislin's app to show the shape of the water.
It just occurred to me it just occurred to me. I wonder if it's the added density due to the salinity that keeps the water from rippling too much. You know, I was amazed how salty that lake is, how saline it is. It's like a saturated salt solution.
Oh yeah, and the mud just sticks to your feet. You can't get it off. It's
I was wearing sandals, remember that?
No, you were barefoot.
I gave up on the sandals.
But I'm sure the density of the water has something to do with the fact that it's dampening waves on the lake.
Yeah, it's a very high salinity there. And actually, if you research into it, there's different parts with different levels of salinity, because they built something and then destroyed it because they sectioned it off. Really, really interesting. I mean, they used to dump a lot of waste in there, and I mean, it's a crazy, crazy, weird place. There's nothing like it really on Earth, I don't think, at all.
I don't think so. Well, maybe the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea is supposed to be very saline too, to where people go down there for therapy. Yes, float on the Dead Sea, and they have more oxygen because it's about 1,500 feet below sea level.
Exactly.
So
we were much higher in Salt Lake.
I've been there. Been swimming in it, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah. But anyway, I took half a gallon of the Salt Lake back with me, and I'm going to do some analysis when I get back to Minnesota. I'm really curious as to what the percentage of salinity is in that water. I mean, it just really blew me away how saline it was.
Hey,
all right.
Yeah, I wonder if an egg would float. We should amp it right out there.
I wanted to ask if Walter planned to present. I thought I saw him presenting a little bit ago, but I didn't know.
What want you to present me?
Well, yeah, Walter, if I was not able to present something today because I'm just kind of locked out from being able to do it from this computer. And so all I did was share the presentation and some of the links. But if you could present the thing that you emailed to me showing the GPS superimposed over Soundly's photo. And then what I did was I turned the photo off and then just turn the bridge sideways to watch the humps start to descend as the perspective changes as you're looking at it from the side. And then just rotate it back again from the end and you'll watch perspective do its thing, and that is cause the humps to appear. If you would like to do that, I would love to watch you do it. I'm kind of a hack in using your app in terms of rotating things and all that. But yeah, I'd love to see you do that if you want to.
It's a problem on the tablet because I don't have a mouse there, and I can't.
All right, then that's fine. Then what I'll do is, like I said earlier, I'll make a video and show that for people who want to see what I'm talking about. But it was really, really good to have you on this Hangout. Really awesome.
Thanks.
All right, Walter, you want to present? Yeah, we do a quick, let's see what Walter has to present, and then we'll do a roundup on the special, presentation, and I'll invite a few people in. So if you guys want to stay, it's up to you.
Okay, I can show you where the data is I used in my app. Let me try. Time to share.
Yeah, you shared 2 times before, so you should be able to share one more time.
Yes, I tried. That's the first time. Nothing. I don't see anything. I try to share a window instead. A moment, Thailand.
Can you show the link in the chat, and I'll just share it for you, Walter?
It should work. Windows
That doesn't work.
did work. Windows did work.
Yeah, you shared earlier. That's weird. There you go.
Okay.
We got you.
Yep, there it goes, man.
Okay. So here is the page where I have all the data that I can show in my app. For example, UNAFCO reference stations. They are distributed over the whole Earth. And
So
below is a table. Sorry?
I was going to inform
Below is
the viewers of what they're seeing. Those are the IGS, that's the International GNSS Service. These are permanently mounted GNSS receivers all around the world. And I gave the file to Walter of those positions. Go ahead.
And the data is below in
that's
the
really
table.
cool.
These are 5,299 stations. And I have the XYZ coordinates here below of each station. And these XYZ coordinates are plotted here. You see the center of the Earth. There is the coordinate axis of the Earth-centered Earth fixed coordinate system. And if I plot in this coordinate system, each point, they build a sphere, this sphere. So the Earth is sphere, undoubtedly. And there are many more data. The Causeway. This is a new one where I aligned the GNSS data to the hubs. And you see they align perfectly until the last visible hub.
Walter, you're really good at math, so I'm just wondering, is there any way that they could have like a flat plane, have those GPS points somehow resemble a globe? They just backwards compatible kind of remake the actual flat Earth into a sphere. Could that be possible?
Like fake it.
No, it's not possible. It's not possible because these Earth-centered Earth fixed coordinates are points in 3D space, independent of the Earth's shape. They are used even in docking maneuvers of the ISS. They work in space too. And if the Earth were flat, all these points, all the 3D points would lie on a flat plane, but they don't. You can take any of these coordinates from any of these data I showed, calculate the length of the vector by squaring each component and summing up the square root, and you get the radius of the Earth of each single point. It does not work at all on a flat model.
And I'll just add to what Walter is saying. The reason I decided to try this goes back to someone called, what was he called? Biru? Wait. It's a few years ago. Bilu. Yeah, Bilu gave me the idea. So here's how this happened. Soundly and I were out visiting George in Rainy Lake, and that's about the time that the videos went around about the Brazilian scientists, and that video flew around, and these were scientists discovering the shape of the Earth is flat and so on, and they used GPS in that video to measure the tilts of buildings, which gave me the idea. The light bulb went off in my head, like, oh yeah, we can do that. And I first did some tests with the Washington Monument, the Empire State Building, the Chicago Towers, and Sears Tower in Chicago, plotted the XYZ coordinates of the base on the floor and the top, at the top of these buildings. And sure enough, it works very well. So, but then we found out it was Bilu in the bush who taught them that, and now they don't like it anymore. So
the Earth is convex.
By the way,
Sorry. All right, go ahead, Paul.
by the way, what you see here are the trip around the Earth from Greater Sapiens, and this is the trip to Antarctica, where they flew cross the Antarctica, not cross the Antarctica, but you see the path of the airplane, and this is the whole.
Walter.
Yeah.
Walter, George here. How are you doing?
Yeah.
Hey, recently I've been watching chats and listening to people on Jose's show over the past week, and a lot of these flat earthers are saying you have come up with a flat earth model that explains everything. Would you care to comment on that to straighten everybody out regarding your flat earth model?
They refer to this model.
I don't know what they're referring to, but
Yes,
they talk
with
about
the personal domes.
Yes.
Yes.
model that
This is the model with the personal dome. You see this half sphere here represents the celestial sphere as we see it on the ground. And I can change the time, and you will see that the sun rays, the sun appears on the celestial sphere. Now this is sunset, but on the dome it is at another angle. And to see, so that the sun appears at the celestial dome, light ray has to bend as shown here to the sun. This could explain optical phenomena. But first, all the calculations of the whole model are based on the heliocentric model. I have to use the real size, the real distances of sun, moon, and Earth to calculate, for example, the shadow the sun casts, because the shadow you see here is the real shadow as it is observed on the Earth. And on the top left, the green triangle is the moon phases, even showing the field rotation from the location where the celestial sphere center is.
So what you're telling us is basically this model is kind of a hybrid of flat Earth and globe Earth, is you have to use globe Earth distance data in order to make this personal dome flat Earth work.
It's essentially a 3-day projection to a flat Earth and a flat Earth dome, a projection of the real heliocentric model to the flat Earth and flat Earth dome. It's nothing other. And to connect the dome, stars and sun and moon to any position on Earth, I have to bend the light rays as you see here. It's totally ridiculous.
Yeah, so there's nothing in nature that would allow you to do this, of course.
Look at this.
Yeah.
This is one star that can be seen from South Africa, South America, and Australia, looking at south.
So light would have to fit in an unrealistic, unobtainable manner in order.
Unbelievable. If light would really bend this, we could take an airplane and fly along such a line, and we would end up in weird places. This is not what happened in reality.
Yeah. It's almost like every place on Earth must have a little miniature black hole to bend light like.
Yes, you know.
That's funny. That is funny. Hey, Walter, I guess you saw the first 2 sets of observations Larry Scott and I completed with zenith angles to the sun. at our locations on that great circle at that time. We're going to be adding.
I saw it.
We're going to be adding the same thing between my latitude and Jeff, the main surveyor up in Maine, and from him to Larry over in Maryland. The next observation set Larry and I are planning that he suggested was to observe Arcturus, which will be basically 180 from, we were observing the setting sun. Now we're going to turn 180 degrees behind us, and in the evening at 7 or 8, observe Arcturus to do the same thing. We're going to feed you all of this data, see what it looks like.
Yeah. Okay. I have to review it because I have to handle technical problems in that moment.
All right, I just shared in the YouTube chat. I spammed it a few times. The Walter Bislin curve calculator. So if you're watching this either live now or recorded, you can check on the chat and the link will be there. I'm going to add a few more links in the description box, but at least I know Blue Marble Science, being a member, his link is there. Walter Bislin's link is in the description box. I added Jesse Kozlowski. I have to add a few more. George, Soundly, Tim. Thank you all. Let's do a roundup, final thoughts. All of you guys, and then I want to open the panel. I know Try Thinking, a Flat Earther, Brandon Toy, I think he wants to come in, Chris Berry, a few guys. If you guys want to hang out after that and entertain them, it's up to you. But we can do a quick roundup. It's going to be 3 hours. I think it's solid 3 hours of good information. I really want to thank you all. Excellent All-Stars panel, excellent show. Thank you, Walter Bislin, for coming in. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, George. Thank you, Blue. Thank you, Soundly. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, everybody. Who wants to go first and give us some final thoughts to round up the special presentation?
Jose, I kind of have to go first. I had really thought I'd be off here an hour ago, and I'm holding up my daughter, so I have to get going. I want to thank you very much for being who you are and the way you are dealing with this, and the platform you provide for people to come in and talk like this. And so I just want to say that, and I want to thank everybody else that came on today. And, just appreciate knowing all of you and the distant relationships we've developed. And the last words I would just want to say is just that what you saw me present today is out there for you to go look at. And it's just a jumping off point. It's not mine. It's just out there. Go look at it. And if you're interested, take it further and, go try some of these things yourself. And here's the most important thing. Don't care what anybody else believes. I don't care what anybody believes. I'm forming my own beliefs as I go. And everyone is. So forget the peer pressure and don't be afraid to be put in some category, because people are gonna do that. So don't worry about that. Find truth yourself, examine things, be open to things, keep looking. You've got to reach your own conclusions. So I'm going to just say, that's my closing thoughts, Jose.
The pleasure is mine, Jesse. Thank you very much again. I appreciate it. And I got your email, and anybody can find you through your YouTube page on the About. So thank you very much, and welcome anytime. I know you jump in and lurk around in the chats every once in a while. Thank you, Jesse, for your support, brother.
Thank you so much. I'm going to sign off. Must get going. And yeah, anybody who wants to reach me, please do. And hey, see you guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
I'm also going to be taking off.
Go ahead.
I'm also going to be taking off, guys. So see you guys later.
Soundly, thank you very much, brother. Good to see you, and thank you for jumping in for a bit and being part of it.
No problem. Talk to y'all later. Bye.
Appreciate it. Who wants to have a go next? George?
Hey there, Jose. Yeah, it's been amusing and fun. The flat earthers need to keep in mind, I've noticed in the chat some comments about Quantum Eraser having some new material or something. That's something to look forward to. But I've seen a lot of people parroting Quantum Eraser in his ridiculous analysis of the Pontchartrain Bridge by looking at elevation data. Elevation data has nothing to do with curvature. So you can't prove whether the Earth is flat or curved by looking at elevation of lake levels. Absolutely impossible. Because on a calm lake, the elevation by definition of level is the same elevation everywhere. And that does not prove flat. Anyway, enjoy your day, Jose. Take care.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And everybody watching in the chat, don't go anywhere. I'm gonna share the link for people to join very shortly. A few quick shout outs. Dane Mo, thank you for the super chat. He say, and thank you, Jose. Well, you're welcome, man. I'm glad to do this. Dan the Waterman say, is this a joke? What is the physical horizon? I hope you all had fun. Thank you, Dan the Waterman. You want to give some final thoughts for the special presentation, Tim and Walter and Blue? Who goes first?
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, go ahead.
That's all right. Go ahead, Tim.
No, go ahead, Blue.
No, I just wanted to say how good it is to be able to sit on a panel and listen to people that actually do this stuff for a living and know what they're talking about. We've run into a lot of guys off and on over the last month or two that talk about surveying techniques and proclaim themselves to understand this when clearly they don't. You need to listen to somebody like Jesse, somebody like George. These guys have got the experience in the background. All you have to do is look at those zenith angles. That is enough by itself to convince you that this earth we live on cannot possibly be flat. And with that, it's been a pleasure. Thanks, fellas.
Thank you very much, Blue Marble Science. I appreciate it. Tim, go ahead.
Yeah, George just brought this back to my attention when I was so astounded, actually, when Quantum Eraser brought up Train Bridge, and literally Nathan's sitting on there, and he knows all about elevation on the sphere and letting him do it. But literally, he was going to each end of the Pontchartrain near the bridge, and he was like, look, this is 2 foot, that's 2 foot. And then he says that the Google Earth is the flat Earth model. I mean, these people are jokes on a high level. And I've always said conspiratorial bias is a hell of a drug. I mean, I've been affected by it for a long, long time. These people, you know, like Quantum Eraser, you add this religious fervor to it too. I mean, this guy is the ultimate Mong on the internet. He doesn't come around and talk to Jesse Kozlowski or Walter or Sally or anybody. He sits on Nathan's little circle jerk where it's basically daddy daycare. Literally grown men, their wives that had babies go out and they're sitting at home talking about flat earth every day. I mean, that just speaks for itself. So anyway, I would ask people like Twitwit or anybody who has power, if some of these people stay on and we want to have a good conversation, people like Pete Shea, perhaps today need to be on the sideline because we've all heard the Aristarchus and the absolute mad bullshit, that musings that he has every day. So let's have a decent conversation. I'm not going to have Chris Berry is fine, all these other people, but I can't talk to Pete or anybody. I'm just going to leave. So thanks, man.
Thank you, Tim. I totally agree. Yeah, I was please on the sidelines today. Thank you very much again. Walter Bislin, final thoughts, and thank you for coming in and hanging out with us.
Yes, it was a primer for me. And as you hear, I'm struggling with speaking English, so I will listen more and throw in some links or some words when I can. But thank you very much for the invitation, and see you next time.
See you next time. Thank you very much. Thank you for your work, and thank you for supporting the channel, being a member, and hanging out in the chat and leaving comments in the comment section. You know, every time you go and leave a comment in the comment section, you get a few replies. So I like the interaction, you know. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for being part of this special presentation. I will now share the link. If anybody wants to join to engage in conversation with everybody, be civil, be respectful, no shouting, no yelling, no calling names, please. Let's try to have a decent conversation. I'll be hanging out in here for a little bit longer and see what it goes. Boom!
Hey,
Great show today. Love it.